To begin our Sunrise Smart Start as News 8, your local election headquarters, Monroe County continues to see a big turnout at the polls. More than 62,000 people have already come out to vote early in the last 4 days.
To compare that to this time in 2020, 44,000 had cast ballots in the early window so far. The impact clearly seen over at Susan B. Anthony's grave, where we were there Friday before early voting started, and we visited again this week. As you can see, the change. Many voters have already been there putting their I voted stickers on her headstone. Thousands more expected to be there visiting the gravesite in the coming days.
Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump will both be in North Carolina and Wisconsin today.
Last night, Harris was in D.C. laying out her final arguments as she spoke to thousands of supporters near the White House at the Ellipse. Trump took the stage in Allentown, Pennsylvania, trying to woo over Latino voters in the wake of a self-described insult comic at his rally Sunday who called Puerto Rico an island of garbage.
It is time for a new generation of leadership in America.
I will deliver the best future for Puerto Ricans and for Hispanic Americans.
Well, President Joe Biden is walking back, or trying to, some comments that he made on a call with a Hispanic advocacy group, where he called Trump supporters garbage. Republicans quickly highlighted these remarks, and Trump's campaign said both Biden and Harris despised Trump supporters. But the president later posted on X that what he meant to say was the hateful rhetoric about Puerto Rico was garbage.
A local woman says she's confused and concerned ahead of the election, as officials in Monroe County say a man who died more than 20 years ago had been removed from their voting rolls. But News 8 spoke with that man's daughter-in-law, who says she and her husband still received a voter card for that dad. Dawn Briner reached out to News 8 after receiving letters congratulating her in-laws Emma and Werner Briner for registering in Wayne County. She also received official voter cards for the couple, as you see. But her father-in-law hasn't voted in decades after he passed away. And her mother-in-law is in Monroe County at an assisted living facility. Dawn and her husband live in Wayne County. She says getting the notices from State Assembly member Brian Mantelo was so jarring she reached out to him. He says he immediately followed up to find out how someone who was dead ended up on voter rolls in his district.
I was like, okay, he's passed away, and he never filled out any kind of election form, and I know Emmy's alive, but we never did an election for her either. She lived in Monroe County at the time, and we just never really re-registered her or anything. So I'm thinking, how could this be? How can they be registered to vote, especially one that's been gone for over 20 years?
It seems like there's a little bit of a flaw in the system. And that's one thing I think we need to do to try to help this situation out, not only here in Wayne County and Monroe County, but across the board. Neither Wayne County nor Monroe County knew that, unfortunately, Werner had passed away 25 years ago.
We have to have proof to cancel voters. We can't just purge people without a reason. So Werner somehow was never identified as deceased in Monroe County.
The election team in Wayne County says when it received notice from Monroe County and the state that the Briners had moved to Wayne, they sent out a new voter card to the new address verifying the information, but never received a correction. Dawn confirmed she did not reach out to either office to let them know what happened to her in-laws. The officials we heard from did apologize to the Briners and say the bottom line, voter education and responsibility is key, adding it's important for voters to notify elections offices when they move or if someone passes away. Assemblymember Mantelo says he'll be working in Albany with other lawmakers in the new session to make sure more cases like this cannot slip through the cracks.
Well, residents of Monroe Avenue in the city and beyond had a chance to have their voices heard last night. A group dedicated to improving this area hosted a town hall after receiving more than 1,000 responses to a survey they sent out in June. Now, a majority of the people who responded agree Monroe Avenue has a variety of places to eat and shop and lots of opportunities for local businesses. But not many of the respondents say that they feel this area is family friendly, safe or clean. That is why residents and everyone who wants to see this area improve spoke up and provided some suggestions, one idea of which is already in the works, the Neighbor Ambassador Program.
The city is providing monetary support, so we are going to have participants, up to 10 participants. They are in active houselessness or drug addiction, and they're going to be working in your neighborhood, and we're going to pay them $15 an hour cash to help get them out of their circumstances.
If we work together, when we work together, we can make a better Rochester.
A follow-up session will take place December 2nd for the public discussions and working meetings.
Sunrise traffic updates here 5 minutes ago until the top of the hour. One new issue reported in Brighton, 590 southbound at the exit for Monroe Avenue there. 390 on the west side is looking good. 104 east and westbound over the Bay Bridge. Nothing slowing down at this point.
Well, a new change for passengers who are taking to the skies, as all U.S. airlines are now required to give passengers an automatic refund for any flight cancellations, significant delays, and services paid for but not provided, for example, Wi-Fi or other entertainment. In fact, it's already in effect. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg announced the proposals back in April. Previously, airlines could decide for themselves how long a delay would have to last before they gave you a refund. But under this new rule, what qualifies as a significant delay is at least 3 hours for domestic flights, 6 hours for international.
The New York Yankees had their backs up against the wall, cornered by Los Angeles. The Dodgers facing elimination in the World Series. The Yankees trying to make history, the first team to erase a 3-0 deficit in the Fall Classic. New York moved closer to getting swept when Freddie Freeman hit another homer in the first, but this third inning grand slam for New York led the Yanks to a win, 11-4, the final. That forces Game 5 tonight. If they can do this again, they'll make the trip out there for Game 6 and 7 in L.A.
Yeah. Should be warm.
Yeah, it will be.
Nice.
And here, might not hit the record, but we'll be there in shouting distance.
It's possible, though. You know, you've predicted, I think, 76 was your forecast check today.
Yeah.
The high 78.
Yeah, record,
I don't know. It could happen.
Yeah, it could have been wrong by a couple of degrees.
Yeah, you said what's the plus or minus? 3 degrees, 4?
Generally, about 3 degrees. Yep. So we'll see if we get there. It is breezy as well. Note that, but let's enjoy this afternoon. Tomorrow, Halloween also looks very warm. We'll start off around 60, finishing again in the mid to upper 70s. Trick-or-treat time will be low 70s, 6, 7 p.m. And the rain really is late, after 8 p.m. there, which is nice. Friday, that 55, that's kind of a morning high as we tumble down. Saturday, stuck maybe in the 40s all day. And then a lot going on. You got the Bills game on Sunday, and then just a little day on Tuesday. It's actually the NFL trade deadline on Tuesday.
Yes, it is.
So
big deal.
Big news.
How about that?
Yeah, the secondary news.
The NFL will try to crush anything on the calendar with it. We'll see you back here in 30 minutes.
Have a great day.
Follow News 8 wherever you are on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, X, and on our app for news and weather.